First contact. In the vast expanse of the Milky Way, where countless civilizations had risen and fallen, the discovery of Earth came as a shock to the Galactic Confederation. It wasn't the planet's beauty or its abundant resources that caught their attention, but rather the peculiar species that called it home: humans. The Zarkonian survey ship Eternal Seeker had been on a routine mapping mission of an unremarkable arm of the galaxy when their sensors picked up an unusual concentration of radio waves. Captain Silna, a veteran of countless first contact scenarios, initially dismissed it as natural phenomena. However, as they drew closer to the source, the signals became clearer, carrying with them the unmistakable hallmarks of intelligent life. "Impossible," Silna muttered, her four eyes blinking in rapid succession. "Our records show this sector as uninhabited." The ship's AI, Synth, chimed in with its melodious voice. "Captain, I've analyzed the signals. They appear to be broadcasts of entertainment, news, and something called reality shows. The species responsible seems to be broadcasting these indiscriminately into space." Zilna's antennae twitched with curiosity. "Are they trying to contact someone?" "Negative, Captain," Synth replied. "It appears they are simply talking to themselves." As the Eternal Seeker entered the solar system, they were met with a cacophony of signals, debris, and primitive satellites orbiting a blue-green world. The crew watched in fascination as they observed the planet's inhabitants going about their daily lives, oblivious to the alien presence above them. "They seem so chaotic," remarked Science Officer Vex, his tentacles waving in agitation as he reviewed the data. "Look at their cities, their social structures. There's no uniformity, no overarching plan. How do they function?" Captain Silna leaned forward, her eyes fixed on the holographic display of Earth. "That's what we're here to find out. Vex, prepare a detailed report for the Confederation. We may have stumbled upon something unique." Over the next several weeks, the crew of the Eternal Seeker observed humanity with growing fascination and bewilderment. They watched as humans navigated complex social hierarchies, engaged in seemingly pointless conflicts, and yet demonstrated remarkable resilience and creativity in the face of adversity. One incident, in particular, caught the aliens' attention. A devastating earthquake had struck a densely populated region, causing widespread destruction. The Zarkonians expected chaos and collapse. Instead, they witnessed an extraordinary display of cooperation and ingenuity. "Captain, you need to see this," called Communications Officer Zora, her bioluminescent skin pulsing with excitement. "The humans, they're moving mountains." Zilna rushed to Zora's station, watching in awe as humans used their primitive machinery to clear rubble, rescue survivors, and begin rebuilding almost immediately after the disaster. What struck her most was not just the efficiency of their response, but the emotional drive behind it. Humans from all over the planet were volunteering, sending aid, and working tirelessly to help complete strangers. "I've never seen anything like it," Zilna whispered. "In the face of such destruction, they don't give up. They don't wait for instructions from a central authority. They just act." As the days turned into weeks, the Zarkonians found themselves captivated by humanity's contradictions. They marveled at human art, music, and literature, expressions of creativity that seemed to serve no practical purpose, yet were integral to human society. They were puzzled by human sports, where individuals pushed their bodies to the limit for the sake of entertainment and competition. But what truly baffled them was humanity's relationship with conflict. Humans seemed to simultaneously abhor and glorify warfare. They created weapons of terrifying destructive power, yet also established complex systems of laws and ethics to govern their use. "It's as if they're constantly at war with themselves," Vex observed during a crew briefing. "They strive for peace while preparing for war. They create and destroy with equal passion. How can any species survive with such internal conflict?" Captain Silna considered this for a moment before responding. "Perhaps that's exactly why they survive. Vex. This internal struggle seems to drive them forward, pushing them to evolve and adapt at a rate we've never seen before. As the time for official first contact approached, the crew of the Eternal Seeker found themselves both excited and apprehensive. They had observed humanity at its best and its worst, witnessed its tremendous potential and its capacity for self-destruction. Synth. Silna called out to the ship's AI. Send our final report to the Confederation. Include a personal note from me. Of course, Captain. What would you like to say? Synth inquired. Silna took a deep breath, her eyes once again fixed on the image of Earth rotating slowly on the main view screen. Tell them we may have discovered the most dangerous and the most promising species in the galaxy. And may the stars help us all if we mishandle this first contact. As the message was sent, streaking across the vast distances of space towards the heart of the Galactic Confederation, the crew of the Eternal Seeker began their final preparations. In a matter of hours, they would reveal themselves to humanity, bridging the gap between two worlds and ushering in a new era of galactic history. Little did they know that this first contact would set in motion a chain of events that would shake the very foundations of the galaxy, challenging everything the Confederation thought they knew about life, intelligence, and the nature of civilization itself. As Earth continued its eternal dance around its star, blissfully unaware of the momentous changes heading its way, Captain Silna allowed herself a moment of reflection. Whatever happened next, she knew that the galaxy would never be the same again. Humanity was about to step onto the cosmic stage, and the performance was sure to be unlike anything the universe had ever seen. The Galactic Stage. The day Earth officially joined the galactic community was one of both celebration and trepidation. As the sleek Zarkonian ships descended from the skies, hovering over major cities across the globe, humanity held its collective breath. Decades of speculation, science fiction, and conspiracy theories had not prepared them for the reality of first contact. Captain Silna, chosen as the face of the Galactic Confederation for this historic moment, stood before the United Nations General Assembly. Her 4 eyes blinked slowly as she took in the sea of faces before her, each displaying a mix of awe, fear, and curiosity. People of Earth, she began, her words translated into hundreds of languages simultaneously. We come in peace and with an invitation. The galaxy is vast, filled with wonders beyond your imagining. And now, it is time for you to take your place among the stars. The reaction was immediate and varied. Some nations embraced the opportunity with open arms, eager to learn and explore. Others reacted with suspicion and hostility, fearing subjugation or loss of autonomy. The human internet exploded with theories, memes, and heated debates about the implications of alien contact. What followed was a whirlwind of cultural exchange, technological sharing, and diplomatic negotiations. Humanity, true to form, approached their new galactic status with a mix of enthusiasm, skepticism, and irreverent humor that left many alien species baffled. One incident, in particular, highlighted the unique nature of human diplomacy. During a tense negotiation over Earth's inclusion in galactic trade routes, the Valaxian ambassador, a being of pure energy contained within a crystalline structure, was outraged by what he perceived as human disrespect. You dare to make light of these proceedings? The Valaxian thundered, his crystal form pulsating with anger. This is not some trivial matter to be joked about. The human diplomat, Sarah Chen, remained unperturbed. With all due respect, Ambassador, she replied with a smile. Humor is how we humans often deal with stress and unfamiliar situations. It's not meant as disrespect, but rather as a way to ease tensions and find common ground. The concept was so foreign to the Valaxian that it took several Earth hours and numerous cultural examples before he began to grasp the idea. By the end of the negotiations, the Valaxian was attempting his own jokes, with mixed results that nonetheless endeared him to the human delegation. As humans began to venture into space in greater numbers, their approach to problem-solving both impressed and concerned their alien counterparts. When a critical life support system failed on a deep space station, the alien engineers prepared for a lengthy shutdown and repair process. The human engineers, however, had other ideas. "Duct tape, cable ties, chewing gum," exclaimed Zixlor, the Praxian chief engineer, his exoskeleton rattling in disbelief. "You can't possibly fix a quantum stabilizer with such primitive materials." Jack Torres, the human engineer, grinned as he applied the makeshift repairs. "Watch and learn, my friend. Sometimes you've got to work with what you've got." To everyone's amazement, the jury-rigged solution held, keeping the station operational until proper repairs could be made. This MacGyver approach, as humans called it, soon became legendary throughout the galaxy, symbolizing humanity's knack for unconventional problem-solving. However, not all of humanity's traits were met with admiration. Their penchant for risk-taking and their seemingly cavalier attitude towards danger caused considerable concern among the more cautious species of the Confederation. During the first interstellar sports competition, humans introduced the concept of extreme sports to a bewildered galactic audience. The sight of humans willingly throwing themselves off cliffs with nothing but a wingsuit or surfing on the plasma storms of gas giants left many aliens questioning human sanity. "Do they not value their lives?" asked Neelix, a Centaurian observer, his tentacles writhing in anxiety as he watched a human snowboarder perform a death-defying stunt. "On the contrary," replied Dr. Emily Sato, a human anthropologist, "it's because we value life that we push its boundaries. For many humans, the risk is part of what makes life worth living." This philosophy extended beyond sports into human scientific endeavors and exploration. Where other species might spend decades studying a phenomenon from a safe distance, humans were known to dive in headfirst, often making breakthrough discoveries through their hands-on approach. Yet it was in the realm of politics and diplomacy that humanity's impact was most profoundly felt. The concept of democracy, while not unique to Earth, was practiced by humans with a fervor that both inspired and unsettled other civilizations. The first Galactic Summit, attended by Earth's representatives, quickly turned into a lively debate that lasted for days, covering topics ranging from individual rights to the ethics of terraforming. Many alien species, accustomed to more hierarchical forms of government, were taken aback by the humans' insistence on questioning authority and challenging established norms. "How do you ever get anything done?" asked Horbax, a representative of the Hivemind Collective, genuinely puzzled by the constant debates and disagreements among the human delegates. "That's the beauty of it," replied Aisha Mbeki, the African Union's representative. "Through debate and disagreement, we refine our ideas and reach better solutions. It's messy, yes, but it's also how we progress." As Earth's influence grew, so did concerns about humanity's potential impact on the delicate balance of galactic politics. Some species saw humans as a breath of fresh air, bringing new ideas and dynamism to stagnant systems. Others viewed them as a potential threat, a chaotic element that could unravel millennia of careful diplomacy and order. Captain Silna, now serving as Earth's liaison to the Galactic Confederation, found herself increasingly playing the role of mediator between humans and the rest of the galaxy. "They are young," she explained to the Confederation Council, "barely out of their planetary cradle, but they possess a drive, a creativity, and a resilience that I believe will benefit us all, if we can guide them wisely." As the Council debated humanity's place in the galaxy, a new challenge loomed on the horizon. Reports were coming in from the outer reaches of Confederation space of an aggressive, expansionist species that showed no interest in diplomacy or cooperation. The Crixians, as they called themselves, seemed intent on conquest, posing a threat unlike any the Confederation had faced in centuries. Little did anyone realize that this new threat would thrust humanity into a role that would shock the galaxy and forever change the course of interstellar history. As the storm clouds of conflict gathered, the humans prepared to show the universe just what they were capable of when pushed to their limits. The galaxy watched with bated breath, wondering, would humanity be its salvation or its downfall? The Crixian threat. The arrival of the Crixians sent shockwaves through the Galactic Confederation. Reports of their attacks on outer colonies painted a grim picture, a species driven by a zealous belief in their own superiority, intent on subjugating or destroying all who stood in their path. As the Confederation scrambled to mount a defense, humanity found itself thrust into the spotlight once again. While many alien species recoiled from the prospect of war, humans seemed to shift into high gear, their entire civilization mobilizing with a speed and efficiency that astounded their galactic neighbors. Admiral Elena Rodriguez, newly appointed as Earth's representative to the Confederation Defense Council, strode into the emergency session with a determined glint in her eye. The chamber, filled with holographic projections of representatives from across the galaxy, buzzed with nervous energy. Ladies, gentlemen, and distinguished beings of all designations, Elena began, her voice cutting through the chatter. We've reviewed the Crixian threat, and we have a plan. It's unconventional, it's risky, but we believe it's our best shot at stopping this invasion. The plan, as it turned out, was quintessentially human. Instead of meeting the Crixians head-on in traditional space battles, humanity proposed a mix of guerrilla tactics, psychological warfare, and technological innovation that left many of the alien representatives bewildered. "You want to do what?" sputtered Graxlor, the Arcturian defense minister, his crystalline form shimmering with disbelief. "We call it Operation Trojan Horse," Elena explained, a hint of a smile playing on her lips. "We let the Crixians think they've won, lure them in, and then hit them where it hurts." The plan involved allowing the Crixians to capture several seemingly vital outposts, each rigged with hidden surprises ranging from EMP devices to swarms of nanobots programmed to disrupt Crixian technology. It was a plan that relied heavily on deception, misdirection, and a willingness to sacrifice short-term gains for long-term victory, concepts that many of the longer-lived, more cautious species found difficult to embrace. As debates raged in the council chambers, humanity was already putting their plans into motion. Earth's factories worked around the clock, churning out advanced weaponry that seamlessly blended alien technology with human ingenuity. Scientists and engineers collaborated across species lines, creating hybrid technologies that pushed the boundaries of what was thought possible. One such innovation came from an unlikely collaboration between Dr. Yuki Tanaka, a human quantum physicist, and Zixlorn, a Praxian bioengineer. Together, they developed a form of adaptive camouflage that could fool even the most advanced Crixian sensors. "It's not just about blending in visually," Dr. Tanaka explained to a group of stunned Confederation scientists. "Our camouflage adapts at the quantum level, essentially making our ships speak Crixian to their sensors. We're hiding in plain sight." The first test of humanity's unconventional tactics came at the Battle of Proxima Centauri. As the Crixian fleet approached the human colony, they were met with what appeared to be a token resistance. Confederation observers watched in horror as human ships seemed to fall easily before the Crixian onslaught. "What are they doing?" cried Xorbax, the hive mind collective representative, their composite voice tinged with panic. "They're being slaughtered." Captain Silna, watching from the Confederation Command Center, felt a knot of worry in her stomachs. Had she misplaced her trust in human capabilities? But as the Crixians moved in to claim their prize, the true nature of the human strategy was revealed. The seemingly defeated human ships suddenly came to life, their adaptive camouflage dropping to reveal advanced weaponry. At the same time, the captured outposts activated their hidden defenses, catching the Crixian fleet in a deadly crossfire. The battle that followed was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Human ships darted and weaved with a level of maneuverability that defied conventional space combat tactics. They employed swarm tactics with smaller craft, overwhelming Crixian defenses with sheer numbers and unpredictability. Perhaps most shockingly, human soldiers engaged in boarding actions, something unheard of in modern space warfare. Using personal teleportation devices reverse-engineered from various alien technologies, Squads of human Marines materialized inside Crixian ships, fighting in close quarters with a ferocity that left even the warlike Crixians stunned. As the dust settled on the Battle of Proxima Centauri, the galaxy watched in awe and not a little fear. The Crixian invasion had been not just repelled, but routed. The invaders fled, leaving behind a graveyard of ships and a wealth of captured technology for the Confederation to study. In the aftermath, the Galactic Confederation found itself grappling with a new reality. Humanity, the newcomers, the upstarts, had just succeeded where the combined might of ancient civilizations had failed. The implications were staggering. How? Asked Graxlor in the post-battle council session, his crystalline form pulsing with a mix of admiration and concern. How did you conceive of such tactics? Admiral Rodriguez's response was characteristically human. We've been preparing for this kind of thing for centuries, she said with a shrug. In books, in movies, in games, we've imagined every possible way aliens might invade us. Seems like all that imagination finally paid off. The ripple effects of the battle spread quickly through the galaxy. Some species looked to humanity with new respect and gratitude. Others, particularly those who had long dominated Confederation politics, eyed the newcomers warily, concerned about the shift in the balance of power. For their part, humans took their victory in stride, already focusing on the next challenge. They pushed for a more proactive stance against the Crixian threat, advocating for taking the fight to the enemy rather than waiting for the next attack. As debates raged in the Confederation Council about the future course of the war, one thing became clear: the galaxy would never be the same. Humanity had arrived on the galactic stage not with a whimper, but with a bang, and every species in the Confederation was now forced to reassess their place in the cosmic order. In her private quarters, Captain Silna reviewed the battle footage for the 100th time, her 4 eyes blinking rapidly as she processed what she had witnessed. "Oh, humans," she murmured to herself, a mix of admiration and trepidation in her voice. "What wonders and what chaos will you bring to our galaxy next?" As if in answer to her unspoken question, an alert chimed on her communication device. A new report had just come in from the front lines. The Crixians, it seemed, were regrouping for a counterattack. And humanity, they were already volunteering to lead the charge. The next phase of the Galactic War was about to begin, and with humans in the fray, it promised to be unlike anything the universe had ever seen. The Battle of Proxima Centauri. The Crixian counterattack came swiftly and with a vengeance. Their fleet, bolstered by reinforcements from their home systems, descended upon Proxima Centauri with a fury that threatened to overwhelm the hastily assembled defenses. This time, they were prepared for human tactics, or so they thought. Admiral Elena Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the HMS Invictus, Earth's most advanced battleship. Her eyes scanned the holographic display, showing the approaching Crixian armada. "Well, folks," she addressed her crew, a mix of humans and alien allies. "They didn't like our little surprise party last time. Let's show them we've got more tricks up our sleeves." As the battle commenced, it quickly became apparent that this would be no repeat of the previous encounter. The Crixians had adapted, incorporating countermeasures against human tactics. Their ships now emitted scrambling fields that interfered with the quantum camouflage, and they had developed their own short-range teleportation technology to repel boarding parties. For a moment, it seemed as though the tide had turned against the defenders. Crixian warships punched through the outer defense lines, their energy weapons carving fiery swaths through the Confederation fleet. But if there was one thing the galaxy was learning about humans, it was their incredible adaptability. As the Crixian advance threatened to overwhelm them, Admiral Rodriguez unveiled humanity's latest innovation. "All ships, initiate Operation Firefly," she commanded, her voice steady despite the chaos of battle around her. Suddenly, dozens of small, seemingly unarmed human vessels broke formation, streaking towards the Crixian fleet at impossible speeds. The alien observers watched in confusion, unable to discern the purpose of this apparent suicide run. As the small ships neared the Crixian vessels, they began to glow with an intense, almost blinding light. Then, in a coordinated maneuver that looked more like a dance than warfare, they darted between the enemy ships, leaving trails of brilliant energy in their wake. By the cosmic egg, Braith Zixlorn, the Praxian engineer who had helped develop some of Earth's new technologies. They've weaponized the Alcubierre drive. Indeed, the humans had taken the principles of faster-than-light travel and turned them into a weapon. The small ships were creating localized warps in spacetime, the intense gravitational forces ripping apart Crixian vessels caught in their wake. The Crixians, their formation shattered by this unprecedented attack, fell into disarray. This was the opening the Confederation fleet needed. Human ships led the charge, their unconventional tactics throwing the enemy into confusion. Vessels from a dozen alien races followed, each contributing their unique capabilities to the fray. On the planet's surface, another battle was unfolding. Crixian dropships had managed to land troops, intent on capturing the colony's vital infrastructure. But they found themselves facing not just human soldiers, but an entire population ready to resist. Colonel Sarah Chen, leading the ground defense, had implemented a strategy that had most of her alien advisors shaking their heads in disbelief. Instead of concentrating defenses around key installations, she had distributed weapons and training to the civilian population, turning the entire colony into a bristling fortress. In human history, she had explained to her bewildered alien counterparts, some of our most effective resistance movements were led by ordinary people defending their homes. Never underestimate the power of a determined civilian with a cause. The Crixian ground forces, expecting an easy conquest, instead found themselves in a nightmarish urban combat scenario. Every building was a potential ambush site, every civilian a potential combatant. The colonists employed improvised weapons alongside advanced alien technology, their creativity and ferocity catching the invaders off guard. Back in space, the battle had reached its crescendo. The Crixian flagship, a behemoth of a vessel that dwarfed anything in the Confederation fleet, bore down on the HMS Invictus. Admiral Rodriguez knew that this was the moment that would decide the battle. "All hands, brace for dimensional shift," she ordered, her voice calm despite the stakes. The Invictus shimmered, its form seeming to blur and distort. Then, in a maneuver that defied the laws of physics as most species understood them, the ship seemed to fold in on itself, disappearing from normal space. For a breathless moment, nothing happened. The Crixian flagship hung in space, its weapons primed, but with no target to fire upon. Then, with a flash of blinding light, the Invictus reappeared. Inside the Crixian ship's shields, nestled right up against its hull. "All weapons, fire at point-blank range," Rodriguez commanded. The resulting explosion was visible from the planet's surface, a new, short-lived star blossoming in the sky of Proxima Centauri. As the Crixian flagship disintegrated, taking a significant portion of their fleet's command structure with it, the tide of battle decisively turned. The remaining Crixian ships, now leaderless and outmaneuvered, began a hasty retreat. In the aftermath of the battle, as the counts of casualties and damage were tallied, the full impact of what had transpired began to sink in across the galaxy. Humanity had not just won a battle, they had revolutionized warfare on a galactic scale. The Confederation Council chamber was abuzz with excited and fearful chatter. Species that had looked down on humans as primitive upstarts now regarded them with a mixture of awe and trepidation. The balance of power in the galaxy had shifted, and everyone knew it. Ambassador Thor Bax of the Hive Mind Collective addressed the council, their composite voice resonating with a hint of unease. "We cannot ignore the implications of what we have witnessed. Humanity has proven itself to be a force unlike any we have encountered. The question we must now ask ourselves is, what does this mean for the future of our Confederation?" As the council debated, news of the victory spread across Earth and its colonies. Celebrations erupted in cities around the globe, with humans and alien residents alike taking to the streets in jubilation. Yet among Earth's leaders, the mood was more somber. President Amelia Okafor addressed the United Nations in an emergency session. "Today we have won a great victory," she began, her voice grave. "But with this victory comes great responsibility. We have shown the galaxy what humanity is capable of. Now we must show them that we can be trusted with the power we wield." As humanity grappled with its new role on the galactic stage, the Crixians were far from defeated. In the depths of space, their remaining leaders gathered, burning with shame and rage at their defeat. They began to plan, to adapt, to prepare for a war unlike any they had ever fought before. The Battle of Proxima Centauri was over, but the war for the galaxy had only just begun. And at the center of it all stood humanity, brave, innovative, terrifying humanity, ready to shape the destiny of the stars. Galactic repercussions. In the months following the Battle of Proxima Centauri, the galaxy experienced a paradigm shift. The ripples of humanity's victory spread far and wide, affecting everything from interstellar politics to cultural exchange and technological development. The Galactic Confederation, once a bastion of ancient traditions and careful diplomacy, found itself in a state of flux. Species that had coexisted in a delicate balance for millennia now scrambled to realign themselves in the wake of humanity's rising influence. On the newly established neutral world of Harmonix, the Confederation convened an emergency summit to address the changing galactic landscape. Representatives from hundreds of worlds gathered in the Grand Amphitheater, a structure specifically designed to accommodate beings of all shapes, sizes, and atmospheric requirements. Ambassador Lai Shang of Earth took the podium, her holographic form projected so all could see. "Fellow sentients," she began, her voice calm but firm, "we stand at a crossroads. The recent conflict has shown us that our old ways of thinking, our old approaches to galactic security, are no longer sufficient. Humanity doesn't seek to dominate, but to cooperate. We bring to the table not just our strength, but our diversity, our adaptability, and our unquenchable spirit of exploration." Her words were met with a mix of reactions. Some species, particularly those who had long chafed under the rigid structures of the Confederation, cheered the prospect of change. Others, especially the elder races who had guided galactic policy for eons, watched with thinly veiled concern. Zixlorn, the Praxian engineer who had worked closely with humans, spoke next. "I have seen firsthand the human capacity for innovation," he chittered, his exoskeleton gleaming under the amphitheater's lights. "They do not think in linear paths as many of us do. Where we see limitations, they see possibilities. This is a trait we would do well to embrace." As the summit progressed, it became clear that humanity's influence extended far beyond military matters. Human culture, in all its vibrant diversity, had begun to seep into galactic society. Alien youth were adopting human fashions, listening to human music, and even attempting to recreate human cuisines, with varying degrees of success and food safety. This cultural exchange wasn't one-sided, however. Humans, with their insatiable curiosity, eagerly embraced alien art forms, philosophies, and technologies. Earth's cities became melting pots of galactic culture, with districts catering to various alien species popping up alongside traditional human neighborhoods. Yet, as with any great change, there were those who resisted. On the fringes of Confederation space, a movement known as the Purists began to gain traction. Composed of conservative elements from various species, they viewed humanity's rapid rise as a threat to their way of life. Drelkon, a purist leader from the silicon-based Petrons, addressed his followers in a fiery speech. "These humans are a chaos factor, a disease spreading through our ordered galaxy. Their warlike nature, barely constrained by a veneer of civilization, threatens everything we have built over millennia. We must resist this human tide before it drowns us all." As tensions simmered, the Confederation's scientific community was experiencing a renaissance. The integration of human creativity with alien technologies led to breakthroughs in fields ranging from medicine to faster-than-light travel. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, now heading a multi-species research team, unveiled their latest creation to a stunned audience at the Galactic Science Symposium. "Behold," she said, gesturing to a swirling vortex of energy contained within a transparent sphere, the first stable microcosm of interdimensional space. With this, we can potentially access and study parallel universes. The implications were staggering. Not only did this promise to revolutionize our understanding of the cosmos, but it also opened up new avenues for exploration and resources. However, it also raised ethical questions about the rights of beings in other dimensions and the potential dangers of interdimensional contact. Meanwhile, in the economic sphere, human business practices were shaking up millennia-old trade routes and agreements. The concept of a free market, while not entirely new, had never been implemented on a galactic scale with such fervor. Humans established trade outposts in the farthest reaches of known space, negotiating deals with species that the Confederation had long ignored or deemed too primitive for full membership. This approach not only expanded the galactic economy, but also brought new voices into the interstellar community. However, this economic expansion also had its downsides. Reports began to surface of human corporations exploiting resources on developing worlds, echoing some of the darker chapters of Earth's own history. The Confederation found itself grappling with the need for new regulations to curb these excesses while still fostering growth and innovation. As the galaxy adjusted to this new reality, the Crixian threat remained ever present. Though they had been dealt a significant blow at Proxima Centauri, intelligence reports suggested they were regrouping, adapting, and preparing for a renewed offensive. In a classified briefing to Confederation leadership, Admiral Elena Rodriguez laid out the situation. "The Crixians are learning," she explained, her holographic form pacing before the assembled aliens. "They're incorporating our tactics, reverse engineering our tech. The next confrontation will be unlike anything we've seen before. We need to be prepared for a long, difficult war." Her words sent a chill through the chamber. The prospect of a prolonged conflict with an adversary as formidable as the Crixians was daunting, even with humanity's proven capabilities. As the briefing concluded, Captain Silna approached Admiral Rodriguez. "You've changed everything," she said, her four eyes blinking rapidly in what Rodriguez had come to recognize as a sign of deep thought. "For better or worse, the galaxy will never be the same." Rodriguez nodded solemnly. "That's the thing about change, Captain. It's inevitable. The question is, do we shape it or let it shape us?" As they looked out at the stars through the chamber's panoramic window, both human and alien contemplated the future. The galaxy was entering a new era, one filled with unprecedented opportunities and dangers. And at the center of it all stood humanity, for better or worse, ready to face whatever the cosmos had in store. The next chapter in galactic history was about to unfold, and it promised to be one for the ages. A new era. As the galactic standard year turned, marking a full cycle since humanity's dramatic entrance onto the interstellar stage, the cosmos itself seemed to hold its breath. The Crixian War, as it had come to be known, had entered a new phase, one of tense anticipation and rapid evolution on both sides. On Earth, the skyline of New Shanghai glittered with a mix of human and alien architecture. Hovering skyscrapers mingled with traditional pagodas, while anti-gravity tubes zipped beings of all species through the bustling metropolis. In a secluded garden atop the United Earth Government headquarters, President Amelia Okafor sat across from Sorbax, the representative of the Hivemind Collective. "Your people have achieved much in a short time." Sorbax's composite voice hummed, a hint of admiration coloring their usually neutral tone. "But at what cost?" Okafor's gaze swept over the city below, a microcosm of the new galactic order. "Change always comes at a price," she replied softly. "The question is whether the gains outweigh the losses. Indeed, the rapid pace of change had not been without its challenges. Earth grappled with the influx of alien technologies and ideas, struggling to maintain its cultural identity while embracing its new role in the galaxy. Some humans yearned for the simpler times before first contact, forming isolationist movements that echoed the alien purists in their desire to turn back the clock. Yet for every voice calling for isolation, there were dozens more eagerly pushing the boundaries of this new frontier. Human-alien cooperation had led to advancements that would have been unthinkable just a few years prior. In a lab orbiting Jupiter, Dr. Yuki Tanaka and her team had successfully created the first stable wormhole capable of transporting matter instantly across vast distances. "This isn't just about faster travel," she explained to a captivated audience of scientists from across the Confederation. "It's about redefining our understanding of space-time itself." The military implications of such technology were not lost on anyone, least of all the Crictians. Intelligence reports suggested that the enemy was pushing their own scientific boundaries, driven by a desperation born of their defeats at human hands. Admiral Elena Rodriguez, now Supreme Commander of the Confederation Defense Forces, pored over these reports in her war room on the mobile command station, Horizon. Holograms flickered around her, showing troop movements, resource allocations, and potential Crixian targets. "They're adapting faster than we anticipated," she murmured to her aide, a young Zarkonian named Vexilor. "We need to stay ahead of the curve." Humanity's influence on military doctrine had spread throughout the Confederation. Species that had long relied on overwhelming force or advanced technology now incorporated human concepts of guerrilla warfare, psychological operations, and adaptive strategies. The next confrontation with the Crictians promised to be a clash not just of weapons, but of ideas and willpower. Yet even as the galaxy prepared for war, seeds of peace were being sown. On the neutral world of Harmonix, a summit unlike any other was taking place. Representatives from every known sentient species, including some that had long shunned galactic politics, gathered to discuss the future. Ambassador Lai Shang, her holographic form shimmering with barely contained excitement, addressed the assembly. "We stand at a crossroads," she began, her words echoing through the grand chamber. "For too long, our galaxy has been divided. By borders, by ideologies, by fear of the unknown. Today, we propose a new path forward." What followed was a bold plan for a more integrated galaxy, inspired by humanity's own history of international cooperation. Shang proposed the formation of a galactic union, not to replace the Confederation, but to enhance it. This new body would focus on cultural exchange, scientific collaboration, and mutual defense, while respecting the autonomy of individual worlds and species. The debate that followed was heated, with centuries-old rivalries and fresh wounds from the ongoing war threatening to derail the proceedings. Yet, in a move that surprised many, it was a Crixian defector who turned the tide. Crixar, once a high-ranking official in the Crixian hierarchy, took the podium. His crystalline form, so alien to many in the chamber, seemed to shimmer with emotion. "I have seen the brutality of isolation," he said, his translator struggling to convey the depth of feeling in his native harmonic language. "I have witnessed the strength that comes from diversity. This war has shown us that we are stronger together than apart. Let us not waste this opportunity for real change." As the summit drew to a close, a tentative agreement was reached. The Galactic Union would be formed, with Earth playing a key role in its inception. It was a testament to how far humanity had come, from a species unknown to the galaxy to one helping to shape its future. But even as the delegates celebrated this historic moment, a shadow loomed on the horizon. Deep in Crixian space, a massive fleet was assembling. Fueled by desperation and armed with technology reverse-engineered from their encounters with humanity, the Crixians prepared for one final, all-out assault. As news of this impending attack reached the Confederation, beings across the galaxy held their breath. The coming battle would determine not just the outcome of the war, but the very future of galactic civilization. In her office on Earth, President Okafor received the report with grim determination. She opened a channel to Admiral Rodriguez on the horizon. "Elena," she said, her voice steady despite the weight of the moment, "it's time. Operation Stardust is a go." Aboard the horizon, Rodriguez nodded solemnly. "Understood, Madam President. May the stars watch over us all." As the transmission ended, both women gazed out at the stars. Okafor from her window overlooking a transformed Earth, Rodriguez from the bridge of humanity's most advanced warship. In that moment, they felt the weight of not just humanity, but of all sentient life in the galaxy, resting on their shoulders. The final battle loomed, promising to be a clash that would echo through the ages. Humanity, once a tiny speck in the vast cosmic ocean, now stood at the forefront of galactic destiny. Whatever the outcome, one thing was certain: the universe would never be the same again. As ships began to mobilize and civilians huddled around news feeds, a single phrase began to spread, first in whispers, then in shouts, across 1,000,000 worlds in 1,000 languages. Per aspera ad astra, through hardships to the stars. The next chapter of galactic history was about to be written, and humanity, for better or worse, would be holding the pen.